Hi, so you're thinking about moving to Summerlin here in Nevada? That's great news. Stick around for this video. In this video, we're going to discuss the pros and the cons of living in Summerlin. There are quite a lot of positives, quite a lot of good things about living in Summerlin, but there are some little cons that I'd like you to be aware of and at least be fully informed before you do make the decision to move here. And hey, we're going to start right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in the Las Vegas area, go ahead and subscribe, tap on the bell for notifications and you'll be amongst the first to know about the local market conditions here in Las Vegas. My name is Peter and I get calls and emails all the time from people just like you who are looking to move to the Las Vegas area. I absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, please get in touch. You can give me a call, you can shoot me a text, you can send me an email, we can even jump on a Zoom and the link for that is below. I'd love to help you make a smooth move to the Las Vegas area. So as I said, we're talking about Summerlin today. Summerlin is actually the largest master planned community. It's over 22,500 acres. It's still growing. It sits to the west of the valley, next to Spring Mountain, and it's also quite close to Red Rock Canyon as well, so some great views and some great hikes to go on there. Some of that we'll actually talk about in the pros. Talking about pros, let's get on with the pros. Pro number one would be the schools. All of the schools in the Las Vegas area, including Summerlin, Henderson, the greater Las Vegas area, they all fall under the Clark County School District, CCSD, and so they're all governed by the same district. The schools in this area, you can be hit or miss. Some of them are really good, some of them are not so good. So check out the links. I'll put especially niche.com down below and you'll be able to see what schools you're looking at and the best schools for where you will be living. I know schooling was definitely important for me and it was one of the things I took time to look up and do my research and make sure that where we were going to move to, the kids will be in a relatively good school. I'd say overall the schools in Summerlin rank quite highly, not just statewide but also countrywide. So if Summerlin is an area that you're looking at and schooling is important and you have a young family or you have high schoolers, Summerlin would be a good area to move. That said, you know, if you live in other parts of the valley, some people drive and make that drive twice a day over to some of the schools in Summerlin because there are some really good schools in Summerlin. So check out the link below and you'll be able to see exactly the schools I'm talking about. Pro number two would be the shopping. There's some great shopping and dining options in Summerlin. Starting with downtown Summerlin. Summerlin is the only part of Las Vegas that has its own downtown area, apart from downtown Las Vegas itself. It's huge. It's got a vast array of stores. It's got a huge amount of great restaurants as well. And also you'll find the Las Vegas ballpark there. My kids love going to the ballpark. And it's not so much about watching a game, it's more the activities and the fun things that they can do whilst they're there as well. They're always asking me to go. And as I said, they're not huge into baseball yet. They're probably a little bit too young to appreciate the game, but they just love it as a family event to go and check out. So again, whether you're moving on your own or with family, go check out the ballpark in downtown Summerlin. And apart from that, as I said, you'll be able to satisfy all your shopping needs, some great restaurants, no matter what your budget or your tastes are. There's also Tivoli Village, which has more of the luxury brands and also some unique boutiques as well. Again, if that's what you're looking at, absolutely go and check it out. I love walking through Tivoli Village. It feels really upmarket and upscale. So definitely check out those two options. And there's other little shopping options around in the little villages in Summerlin as well. When we go and do a tour in one of my other videos, we'll check out those as well so you can sort of see how they are. The next pro on my list would be the things to do outdoors. Summerlin has over 250 parks. That's a lot of parks. If we put that into comparison to Henderson, which is a large city, Henderson only has 69 parks. So Summerlin, being a large master planned community, 250 parks is a lot of green spaces for you to enjoy. Some of those parks are within the villages of Summerlin, but even then, those are huge. Some of them have water slides, they have tennis courts, they have basketball courts, they have splash pads, they have playgrounds, they have community centres. So there's so much to do and enjoying the green spaces within Summerlin. Then we have over 150 miles of trails for you to go walk in and enjoy, get your steps in, keep yourself active as well. If keeping active is your thing, then absolutely, with Red Rock Canyon being so close, go and do some of the hikes there as well. When you do those hikes, some of those views when you get towards the top are absolutely breathtaking. And that isn't just losing your breath from the hiking, but that's losing your breath from looking at the view that's in front of you. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. The next pro, and it's the same pro all across the Las Vegas, but obviously still applies to Summerlin, is no state income tax. If you're moving from somewhere like California and New York, and you can have the top tier of your state income tax can be 10, 11, up to 14% of your income, that's a huge amount. Think of that. If you can maintain your salary that you have or your income that you have in those states and you can move here to Summerlin, that's almost like giving yourself a 10, 14% pay rise. Then you'll have so much money to go and enjoy what's on offer within Summerlin, within Las Vegas, and explore some of the neighborhood areas as well. The final pro, and it's a pro a lot of people don't realize or factor in when they're moving to Summerlin, is the elevation. Summerlin sits around 3,500 feet above sea level. If we compare that to the Strip, let's say, the Strip is around 2,000 feet above sea level. That difference of 1,500 feet would equate to around about a 5-degree difference in temperature. So that does mean Summerlin will be cooler than the rest of Las Vegas. We're only talking 5 degrees, but you do feel it. Yes, the summers are still going to be really, really hot. Those 3 months between June and August are still going to be really hot. But 5 degrees difference, you do feel it. You know, you can still probably go out and enjoy some of the things there are to do outdoors. The evenings as well are a little bit cooler than the rest of Vegas, so you can definitely go for a nice walk in the evening. In the winter, again, you see the difference. You feel a 5-degree difference in temperature then as well. We're not talking really cold, we're not talking sub-zero, but it is a little bit chillier. It did snow last year in Summerlin. We had a little snow flurry and it was quite pretty. Didn't stick, didn't cause any issues, but it was quite cold. It was a big jacket time. The rest of Las Vegas as well does get cold in the winter, and Summerlin gets a little bit colder. Again, it's not too much to manage. The winds in Summerlin will probably feel a little bit stronger because you're right at the foot of the mountains compared to some of the other parts in the central part of the valley. Again, we're not talking really strong winds that are going to knock you down. Might mess up your backyard every now and then, but that's about it, and definitely not a bad trade-off for living in this part of town. On to the cons. The first con has to be the public transport. This is an issue across Las Vegas if you ask me, but it's even more highlighted in Summerlin. There are some public transport options in Summerlin, but it doesn't really get you out of the area. If you are going to move to this area, I would strongly say you need a car, or you need to learn how to drive if you don't already. If you have a car or you have a means of getting around by yourself, it's so easy to access the rest of Las Vegas. You're so close to the freeway. It's quite a central-ish location, although it's on the west. So you'll be able to get around any part of town you want if you have your own means of transport. The furthest travel time from one side of the city to the other is probably only going to take you 30 to 40 minutes. Some people might think that's quite a lot. I don't think that is too much at all, traveling one side of a city to another, but you will definitely need your own means of transport. Please do not rely on the public transport here because you are going to be disappointed and probably late for any appointments or any meetings that you might have. The next con for me would be the HOAs. HOAs could be turned into a positive as well, depending on how you look at it. I myself have a love-hate relationship with HOAs, let me tell you. Going back to Summerlin, everyone in Summerlin will have to pay a $50 per month HOA fee. That's standard, no matter what village or what part of Summerlin you live in. Aside from that, depending on where you live, your community could also have another HOA fee. Those can range between $150 to $200 per month. With that though, you're going to have areas that are well maintained. They're going to maintain the look and the feel of those villages so that everything feels great and feels uniformed, and essentially it's going to protect the value of the property in those areas. So it's not always a con. Some of the con side of that though is if you want to do something to your property, whether that's painting your door, parking outside, changing the tiles on your roof, whatever you might want to do to change, especially the external part of your property, some of that mostly will be governed by the HOA. So you'd have to check out your HOA rules and regulations and make sure it is allowed. Other than that though, I think the overall aim, as I said, is to protect your investment and help those properties not just stay as they are but appreciate. So I think it is overall a positive, but on the outside it could also be a con as well, and I know a lot of you would prefer to not live in a HOA community. The final con for me would be it's so easy to just stay in Summerlin. Everything that Summerlin has to offer, it's really easy to just get caught up in, let's call it the Summerlin bubble, and not actually venture outside of Summerlin and see the Las Vegas Strip, or go to Mount Charleston or Lake Mead, Lake Las Vegas, and some of the other amazing things there are to do in this area. There's so much to do in Summerlin and you'll never get bored. As I said, there's so many outdoor spaces to enjoy. There's lots of great shopping options. Some of the best restaurants in town are in Summerlin. But when you're living in this area, especially if you're relocating to this area, there's so much to go and enjoy, whether that's outdoors or indoors, whether that's adult or family. So much to go and do. So if you do move to the Summerlin area, promise me you'll actually venture out and enjoy the rest of the Las Vegas Valley and everything else we have to offer here. So that's it, guys. That's the pros and cons, if you ask me, about living in Summerlin. If you have lived in Summerlin before, or you're still living in Summerlin now, and you feel I've missed something out, or you agree with some of the things I've said, please drop a comment below. That way you don't just help myself, you help all of those out there that are thinking about moving to the Summerlin area. I appreciate all your support, and thank you to all those clients who have already reached out to me. Just as a reminder, you can give me a call, send me a text, write me an email. We can jump on a Zoom by booking that on the link below, and I'd love to help you make a smooth move to the Las Vegas area. I myself have gone through relocation to this area, so I know what it's like from being in this stage and the planning and the research to moving day, so I'd love to help you along the way with my experience. But until the next time, guys, thank you for watching. Take care. Hi, so you're thinking about moving to Summerlin here in Nevada? Amazing. Please stick around for this one. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living... Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Las Vegas or Henderson,